Hi my YouTube friends! I'm very glad to see you today. So today I'm going to tell the story of how I met my husband. So it starts at the time when I was 17 years old, and at this time I was studying a lot. I was absorbed and focused on studying at school and at home. I was very focused on doing my homework, studying for tests for long hours, because I strive to be very good student. I strive to be excellent student, and I really was an excellent student. I was one of the 5 excellent students. So putting effort in the studies and believing in yourself, it really gives good results. But so I was, like I said, I was spending long hours in doing homework and studying for tests. And also, in addition, I just want you to know that I was a social person too. I had friends, I had boyfriends too. But at this time I was meeting less and less with my friends. So I think my mother was a little bit worried about me, that I was not meeting friends as before. She wanted, because she saw that I was too absorbed in the studies and I was too focused on my grades, and this is almost, and not just be focused on studies, and then after I finish, for example, doing homework or study for a test, I would just sit at home and be bored. But of course I did some other things, like going with my mother somewhere, or going with my parents somewhere, but still I was not doing the things that I used to do, which I said was were hanging out with my friends, especially that, but also other activities, like I would go to some sports. I was dancing when I was a little kid. Okay, and I stopped dancing. I stopped doing all my hobbies. For example, I also had, like I said, the hobby of dancing, and I stopped it completely because of the studies. I used to play the piano when I was 14 years old, but I played the piano, and I also stopped it when I started to be focused too much on my studies. So she saw that I just stopped all my hobbies, all the things that I was good at, like playing the piano, dancing. And she was worried, accidentally, or she because we lived in a small town. It was a small city, so many people knew a lot of other people. I mean, many people knew even people that live far from them, because the city is very small. So um, my mother, she saw some guy, and she saw some guy was just hanging around the city. He was a teenager. Of course, teenagers just go outside and they just hang around. They just can go on a stroll. They just go hang out with their friends. Something that we saw a lot in our town. It's like most of the teenagers do that, right? So, and not something unusual, right? So she saw some guy that he was, at this time, he was 19 years old already, and she saw him around the town, and then she saw him with an old woman, who turned out to be his grandmother, and he was taking care of her because she could not walk well. And so he and his grandfather, they took care of his grandmother to help her standing up, help her walking, because she could not walk, and she had some condition. diabetes condition. So it affected her ability to walk, so she couldn't walk. She could barely move. She could move, but it was very difficult for her. And so my mother saw that this guy is very caring and very kind. And also she saw him in different occasions playing basketball with his friends on a school field, school basketball field. Okay, and so she thought, okay, maybe because she wanted me to reconnect with people and focus a little bit less on the studies, like just to get outside of my studies and just not to be so much in the studies. So she thought that this guy that she saw taking care of his grandmother and also playing with his friends on the I don't remember if it was basketball or football actually. I don't really remember. I think it was basketball. So she also saw that she also saw him playing on the basketball field. So she saw this guy and was very kind, very friendly, very caring, take care of his grandmother. She thought, okay, this can be a very good friend for my daughter, and she just decided to initiate our meeting. But she never did a thing like that, because it sounds really strange and weird that somebody that your daughter doesn't know, and she doesn't know this person, and she's not, and suddenly you try to meet her with somebody that you yourself don't even know, didn't even talk. But then she found out somehow that this guy's cousin, he was in my class actually. This guy's cousin was in my class, and I knew these guys' cousins from elementary school to middle school and to high school. So actually I was with this guy's cousin for many years in school, and I knew him and I talked with him occasionally. So I think once when she saw this guy's cousin, because sometimes he would come to our house and ask what are the homework, because he lived very close to me. So he would come to my house and he would ask what are the homework, and I gave him the homework, or if he needed to copy something which he needed to copy if he was not in the classroom this day, if he missed school. So one day when he came to our house, I was not, I think I was not at home at this time. So my mother used this opportunity that I was not at home, and she asked him about his cousin, about this guy, and she asked him if he where does he live, if he wants to meet with somebody, but not in a romantic way, just to be friends. And then she asked him to meet between us. Okay, so the guy in my class, he accepted. And he said to my mother, okay, I will ask Sabina if she wants to meet with somebody, and just a friend, and I would try to arrange a meeting. But he didn't really do that. I think he just forgot about it. He didn't do that. And then after some time, my mother, she told me about this guy that she saw taking care of his grandmother and playing with his friends, basketball, and that he was very kind and caring, and this is very good friend. This is just very good guy just to hang out with, not in a romantic way, of course. And she told me, you know, his cousin is in your classroom. And then she told me the name. She told me the name of the guy in my classroom, like the cousin's guy who is in my classroom. And I said, yeah, right, I know him. And actually, this guy's cousin was sometimes he was sitting next to me. Although most of the time I sat next to my friends, but sometimes we were also sitting together at some subjects. So she told me, I talked with, for example, I'll not say his name, but for example, X. I talked with X, and it turns out that he has a cousin, and I also saw this cousin around in the city in different occasions, and I saw that he was very kind. He was taking care of his grandmother, and he is friendly. And I asked him to arrange a meeting between you and his cousin. So this is what my mother told me. And she also told me, if you can even ask him in the classroom. You can ask him about his cousin. You can even ask yourself that you can ask him to meet with his cousin. And I said okay. Okay, we'll ask him. So I asked my friend, let's call him X. I asked the X, I asked the X, do you have a cousin named that and that name? And because my mother told me about him, and she told me that she saw him in different occasions, and she liked him as a friend for me. And so I asked him, can you arrange a meeting between us? And he said, okay, I will ask him if he wants to get to know somebody as a friend. And after some time, he told me yes. I asked him, and he said he is busy with his studies, because guys, at the time he was already started studying. I don't know how it's called in the United States, but he started in Israel. It's called 13th grade, because after you finish your high school at 12th grade, you can go to study 13th and 14th grade, and it actually gives you a higher education certificate. So he studied electric engineering, but not as a BA degree, as 13th, 14th grade, which gives you a certificate. It's a certificate of a young engineer. It's called young engineer in Israel. And so the guy from my class, he said, no, my cousin said that he is very busy with his studies and he doesn't have time to just meet just friends. I don't know what his cousin thought. Not the one who was in my class, his cousin. I don't know what he thought. Maybe he thought that I meant romantically to meet, or maybe or he thought that not romantically. I don't know what he thought actually. So he said he doesn't have time and he's very focused on his studies. Okay, so time went by, and some more months have passed, and at the last day of school, after we had a very important test in literature, very very important test. I was studying for it for I think 2 or 3 days, because there was a lot of materials to study. So you can imagine that I was very tired after I finished this test, and I just wanted to go home after that. And really we went really when we were walking home. So usually when I was walking home with my friend and with this guy's cousin that was in my classroom, because he was like also my friend. So I was walking with a friend who was a a girl and a friend who was a boy. And I was walking home, and the girl who was my friend, so she needed to head into different directions. So she told me bye and went to the direction of her home. And then after we were left alone with my friend, the boy, so he asked me, do you want still to meet with my cousin, because you talked with me about this some time ago. And I said, oh, what cousin? Because I a little bit forgot about this, because it was like I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, 7 months ago, and I totally forgot about it. And then suddenly I recalled what he was talking about. So I said, yes, why not? Why not? So he said, okay, I will arrange a meeting between you at this and this time. And I think it was actually 4 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. It was so many years ago, but it was something like 4 o'clock. And so I remember when I returned home, and I was very excited for this meeting, because as I told you, because of all these studies and everything, I was focused in the studies and tests. I didn't have too much time to meet with friends. So I was excited to get outside of the house, not only with my parents, just with my friends, as I used to do before. So I went. So the time has come, and I went to the place of the meeting that me and my friend from class set up. I saw there my friend from class and his cousin, the guy that we saw in the city. Not that I saw, but my mother saw. And it was very, very embarrassing, because I don't know, it's somebody that I completely don't know, and I was a shy person. I think all my teenager years I was a shy person. I was social, but at the same time I was shy with people that I don't know, so I was shy. So we sat at the bench, and we talked a little bit with my friend from class, and then he said, okay, I'm going to leave you to get to know each other. And so he went to his home, and we stayed alone. And then first we were shy, then we started talking. We started talking about our hobbies. I told him what I like. He told me what he liked. Of course, before that, we introduced ourselves one to the other. We told our names. And then, like I said, we started telling about our hobbies and about all kinds of things. But I think that I was shy at the beginning, and then I started to be less shy, and I was talking more. And he was more shy. He was like very reserved. He was not looking at me with his eyes too much, because I think he was shy. But I don't know, I think that because he didn't look at me, and he was just like, he was not so comfortable, but he was not like, he almost didn't move, and he didn't look at me. And all of this is because he was shy. But at this time I didn't understand it. I thought that he was snobbish. But after some time into our conversation, I understood that he was just shy. This is why he looked at me less and didn't make too much eye contact, and didn't talk too much. Okay, so this is the story of how we met each other, and I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, of course, I just want to mention something additional. Of course, after this conversation between me and my, at this time, future husband, all the rest was history, of course. We became girlfriend and boyfriend. Not after one meeting, but I think after a couple of dates, we became boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, thank you very much for listening me today. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to get notifications about my next videos, so hit the icon bell and also hit the subscribe button down below. So, and please write and share in the comments how you met your husband, or how you met your boyfriend, or if you are if you got engaged, how you met your fiance. Okay. And also it can be even a friend that is very important and very significant in your life. Okay, so thank you very much. Bye.